Okay, so I've turned our Ashoke and I fixed the Marco. And take note, please. The sewn part is behind. The sewn part is behind. Is behind, okay? Now will be you fold it into two equal halves. Hmm? You fold it into two equal halves. And make sure that the excess left here, make sure that they are equal. Take note. Make sure they're equal or very close. Okay, so I'll be closing mine. I have enough excess though. I'll be closing mine on 23 inches. That is 11 and a half. So when you're making for a client, you request for the head circumference. If it is for you, you measure your own head circumference. So I am closing it on 11 and a half inches. Okay, someone will say now, why am I closing it on this front part? You know, when we are done with the styling and all that, this back part, we'll be covering it with rose. So I don't want my work to look shabby. I will trim off this excess, and when we are done, we'll cover here with rose. And you see our Senegalese Zaracap is taking shape gradually. Okay, so I'll be trimming off this excess. The remaining one left, I'll use my glue to gum it this way and this way. See? So we'll be moving over to the next phase now, which is sewing of those trimmings, sewing of those Ashoke pieces and the wording. Okay, so these are my Ashoke. I had to arrange them according to the inches alongside with the Ashoke, the wording and the Ashoke. I just each one, like this one is 27 inches, this is 28, and this is the 26, this is the 25, so that I will not be confused. So you can actually do yours like that. Now watch what I am going to do, how we are going to sew our wording and the Ashoke together. So you put your wording in the middle, then this side that we had the cotton, where we had to cut the Ashoke into two, you bring it inside. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? And you bring this other outer one. Let me see, shift it. You bring it inside, and you bring this outer one to cover it. You see, and at the end of the day, we get something very neat. You see, let me go again. You place the wording, you place it, you go the where we had the cotton, like where we cut the Ashoke into two, you bring it inside, while the other one that will not fringe, the other side that will not fringe, the place that is already sealed, you bring it like this and you sew. Okay, and you sew on it. So I'll be doing it now. This is for the 25 inches. So this is for us to have a neat work and so that it will not fringe. It will not fringe. When I mean fringe, you know how Ashoke tends to, you see, this is what is called fringe. So this other side, there's nothing like that. So when you sew it this way, your Ashoke will not fringe. So this is how I'm going to sew everything. But the last one, we are not going to sew the last one. That is the last, which is the 28 inches, the longest part. The last one in that 28 inches is one of it. I'm not going to use sewing machine to sew it. I'll use my hot glue for that particular one. I'll be using my hot glue for that particular one. Okay. So gradually our design is getting ready. So now I'll be going off camera to sew everything. And I will show us what it looks like when I'm done sewing everything. Then we'll move to the next phase. Okay, now this is the last pleat, and you see my breast holding is already down, and I'm applying the glue. You're taking the part that will fringe easily first inside, then the other part that is sealed, the way the Ashoke comes, will be on the outer part. Okay, so essence of this is for our work to be neat. This will be the last pleat. Don't worry, as we are doing the work, you will understand why we are using glue for it. Okay, you understand why we are using glue for it. As you can see, I'm almost done here, and this is it. See, unlike the others that have thread on the outer part, this one there is no thread. See how neat it is. See, this is everything. I've glued it, and this is how it looks. This is how it looks. I'm just trying to scrape out the candle wax that's stained it, but that will be in the inner parts. And these are my pleats in their different sizes. Okay, now we're going over to the dummy. We're going over to the dummy. Okay, so we're entering the next phase now, and this next phase I'll be marking the midpoint of my Zara band. Then I'll still mark the midpoints both vertical and horizontally. Yes, and horizontally. So